Okay. Welcome to Pure Truth podcast. This is your host and producer, Lucas Bealey. Now, I went live earlier today, or actually this morning, and then I'm using a different, live streaming um, device. And so I on your end, you probably didn't have any sound. Well, I fixed that because what I did was I went live really quick, and I you know made a live. Then um, went back and I watched it, and when I could watch it on my phone, I was able to hear it. So you should be able to hear me now on your end. And so I'm positive that I have that fixed. And so I am here live again. This is a podcast on finding um, finding the Garden of Eden. Um, don't forget to like, share, and hopefully these. So in the system that I am using, um, I have where I can just click on like, share, subscribe, comment, and it just pops up. Hopefully, if you're watching this, uh, I don't know. There's a possibility that there is two different live streaming, one from YouTube and then one from. I mean, both of my lives, whatever. Um, One of them, yeah, is streaming from. I'm using a system. I forget what it's called, and it should be streaming to YouTube. However, I also went on YouTube and I, you know, pressed the live there. I mean, I don't know exactly how that works, but like, so I don't know. Um, I don't know if it's actually working the way that I want it to work, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know at the end of this, is there going to be two live stream videos that you could click on after this live stream? Um, and if so, is one going to show in the chat section, in the little chat box, two links that you can go to, and then or is the other one um like, I don't know. So one of them you might get where you can see the two links that I have, and then but maybe not the on the left, down at the bottom left, where you see my name. One of them you might see my name there, and then the other one maybe not. I don't know. That's yet to be determined. But if you can see that, yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to also hit the bell notification, because um, just because you subscribe, that doesn't mean that it's going to give you notifications. Just FYI, one thing that I want to share is that if you are watching this live, and hopefully you can hear me on your end, and I mean, I'm looking at the screen. I'm not looking at the YouTube page screen, so I don't even know if there's anybody in the comment section, commenting. I'm looking at the screen from the streaming device that I'm using. But hopefully you can hear everything. But anyways, so what I want to share with you before I get started is one, you can give. I'm just this is something that I plan. I plan to do this as like a full-time ministry. And so giving would be appreciated. Now, you don't have to give. You don't have to give. Let me remind you, you do not have to give. This is an option. You have the option to give, but you don't have to. So hopefully, if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully you can see where I have a thing that you can scan. Oh, Lord Jesus, please help me here. I can have that, or you can scan that QR code. Oh, praise the Lord. For a second there, my mind blanked, and I could not. The QR code. You can scan that QR code, and you can give if you want. Now, you don't have to. It's not something that I'm, obviously, I'm still going to, do this for the kingdom, but it would be appreciated if you gave, because this is, kingdom work. It's kingdom work. And, so yeah, you're like literally your money, you're supporting a ministry, because Pure Truth Podcast, I started because I wanted to tell the gospel. I wanted to tell the truth. I mean, I wanted to tell the gospel, but I also wanted to, go up against the lies of the enemy, and speaking truth. That's why I called it Pure Truth Podcast, is because, like, I want to fight the enemy with truth. So, but, and you're going to have to forgive me. I'm on the watch out. I'm actually at my parents' house. I normally do these lives from my bedroom of my apartment. Well, my mom and dad went out of town, and I am waiting to sign for a package for my father. And so I'm that good son. I'm that good son that signs for their my parents' package that they are expecting to arrive sometime today. And so I'm doing this live, but I'm also on the lookout for that package. that's supposed to show up at my parents' house. And so if at any moment in the live, I get up, that's what I'm doing is I'm signing to the package. Hopefully, if you're watching, don't get off. I mean, obviously, if you're watching later, I probably already signed for that package and stuff. So just keep that in mind. But as I'm live right now, one thing that I am watching out for is my dad's package that he wants me to sign for. So, because him and my mother are out of town. And so normally I'm doing live streams from my bedroom of my apartment. That's not today, obviously. And normally I am live at 9:00 a.m. And I went live at 9:00. But guess what? I did a full live stream of sound on my end, but apparently no sound on the other end. And I did not find that out until after. I was kind of curious to see what the live stream would look like if I was somebody watching it. And so after I went live, I went onto my phone and, watched the live video, the video of the live stream that I did. And, well, there was no sound. So I'm pretty sure that I got that fixed. I'm hoping. And hopefully everything looks to be good. So, but before I get started, so those are the, some of the things that I wanted to talk about before I get started, but there's one more thing. If you can see in the comics section, I have a link to Beauty, a Comedy Series, Season 1. And so if you click on that link, then you can purchase my book on Amazon. And it's the very first book that I published. I am working on season 2. So that tells you that there is season 2, season 3, so on and so forth that is coming. So, and one other thing is I am putting out a challenge. I'm at 180 subscribers right now. And when I get to 300, I know that's a pretty decent, number. But when I get to 300 subscribers, I will give you a pretty decent I'm going to read you a little bit from my comedy series. And it's not just going to be a small little section. It's actually going to be like maybe a page or two maybe even a little bit more, giving you a sneak peek of Beauty, a comedy series. But that is only going to happen when I reach 300 subscribers. So, subscribe. That's the only way that I am going to read from Beauty, a comedy series. So subscribe. So now let's jump into it. I'm sorry that we are heading into like 17 minutes in and I hadn't talked about the subject. I apologize. I wanted to get those out first. Excuse me. And so now getting to the finding the Garden of Eden. First, we kind of have to find the land Eden. So the Garden of Eden in the Bible says that it's inside the land of Eden, right? So we got to find the land of Eden. And if you don't know already, the book of Enoch kind of gives you a description, kind of like maps out a journey that he goes on to the garden. And so we're first going to take a look at that. And so there is three possibilities that that could be the land of Eden. The first possibility is Australia, and I'll explain why. The second possibility is the North Pole, and I will go through the reason why that is a possibility. And another possibility that maybe many people don't really think about is America, and I'm going to explain why I believe that America is a possibility. We can consider America in this race of a possibility of where Eden, the land Eden, would have been. So if you want to follow along with me, open up your books of Enoch to chapter, I believe, chapter 28, chapter 29, chapter 30, and chapter 32. We first start out, he's on this journey, and he's headed east. So if we follow into the midst of the mountain range of the desert So where is he? He's kind of in a desert on a little bit of a mountain range. He saw a wilderness, and there was full of plants, trees in this wilderness. And then there is also water gushing forth from above. So he's almost describing a waterfall. He's first describing a kind of like a desert land that has a forest, some type of forest, and then maybe a waterfall. And, you know, that, you know, don't necessarily look to the Middle East. I mean, my guess is that he would be in Africa, somewhere in Africa, kind of near the land that we call Egypt today, is a possibility. I mean, we don't know exactly where he's at, so I'm not saying that that would be exactly where he's at here in chapter 28. But then in chapter 30, we start to see a little bit more on where he is. So chapter 30, Enoch 30, verse 1, and beyond these, I went afar to the east. So he's traveling again to the east. I saw another place full of water. A place, excuse me, let me back up. Enoch 30, verse 1, and beyond these I went afar to the east, and I saw another place, a valley full of water. Now, what is the definition of a valley? A definition of a valley is kind of like a hill that has a slope, another hill that has a slope, that kind of come together like that. And in the middle of those two hills is a valley. Now, this valley can be, I don't know how wide this valley would be, but many valleys can be very, very wide, or they don't have to be. I can only think of one valley that would be full of water. And that valley would be the Red Sea. Think about it. By definition, the Red Sea is actually not just a sea, but a valley. Because by definition, there's a hillside over here and a hillside over here. And it does what? It does something like this, right? I wish I could write, draw it out on, piece of paper for you. But, I mean, so you're going to have to imagine. And if you go on Google Earth, take a good look, zoom all the way in on the Red Sea. There's a hill that, takes a dip, and then it does this. It goes back up. And on the other side, and that is, by definition, a valley. So that's the only valley that I can think of that would be filled with water. And so that's where we go, oh, okay, now we know for sure where Enoch is. So then if you go further, it says that he went above, far, and beyond the Ithraean Sea. Now, throughout history, we kind of changed the names of places, right? And so looking at Google Earth, we can't really find a Ithraean Sea, but there are scholars who would say that there's a sea, kind of next to India, and that would be like the ancient Ithraean Sea. And Enoch is still heading east. Now, there's a lot of people that believe that because Australia is, to the east, that's where Enoch landed. I wouldn't be so sure. Now, yes, I did say, I know it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm going to say or share something of, that's going to say of the reason why I believe, like here in a little bit, I'm going to share the reason why I still believe that Australia is a reasonable spot, even though it's not exactly east, it's more southeast. I'm going to share in a little bit of why I think Australia is still a good spot. But you have to understand that Australia is not exactly east, it's southeast. And Enoch heads east. It doesn't say that he headed southeast. It doesn't say that he headed south, then east. It just says that he headed east. So then once we get down further, in chapter 32, verse 3, I came to the garden of righteousness, and I saw beyond those trees many large trees growing there and of godly fragrance, large, very beautiful, and glorious. So let me stop there. He says it twice. These trees are very large, larger than all the other trees. So in my understanding, he's coming to like another forest area, and then he sees above all the other trees that are sky high. They're big, they're large, and he says that twice. That gives you a good indicator that these trees are probably the largest trees in the world. Now, Australia has the second highest trees in the world, but where is the highest? The biggest trees in the world are located in California. In California. That is in the United States. So that's just one of the reasons why I put United States as a possibility. And again, right now, that's just a possibility. I'm not saying that the United States would be Eden. I'm just saying let's take a deeper look into the United States. And then later, I'm going to share more of reasons why. But that's the reason why you can kind of, make a case for Australia. Although, one, they only have the second highest trees. And secondly, it's southeast of where Enoch is traveling. And he says that he traveled east. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, wait a minute. America, it would be known as the Western land, right? Well, if you keep heading east in a straight line, you're going to land in Asia. We know from Asia, America is what direction? If you're standing on Asia, America is what direction? East. There's on the very top of Asia, there's a part that almost, I haven't been there, so I don't know if you would be able to see Alaska from the very top of Asia or not. But I'm sure there is islands up there that kind of connect Alaska and Asia. So, I mean, not literally connect, but they, what I'm saying is literally Asia or the United States, America is actually east from Asia. And so if you're Enoch going east, once you get to Asia, the United States is east from it. And what I mentioned earlier is that California has the tallest trees. And in the book of Enoch, it says that he saw trees that were tall, that are large, actually. And he says that twice. So, from my understanding, it kind of sounds like Enoch is telling us that these trees are the biggest trees around, the biggest trees on Earth. So here's something interesting. If you start, follow me here. If you're on the other side following me, make notes. Make notes. Get your papers out. Make some notes. Follow me. If you start at the Red Sea and you head straight east towards the United States, you actually you make a straight line towards the United States, you're going to end up in the southern California, northern Mexico area. That if you were to draw a straight line from the Red Sea, if you were to just draw a straight line from the Red Sea to the United States, you're going to end up in, the northern border of Mexico and the, southern border of California. That's where you're going to end up. Like, I'm not making this up. I mean, you can literally take a globe, draw a straight line from the Red Sea to America, and that's where you end up. And that should blow your mind right there. So yeah, once again, that's the reason why I'm making the case for America to be one of the possible destinations for the garden, or for the land Eden. And but if you don't know this, I made a few videos describing of, talking about a discovery that archaeologists have found. There's a discovery that they made here, at Lake Mendota, Wisconsin, where they have found canoes that they have dated back to 4,500 years ago. And what we know is that the world is anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 years. And every Christian is going to agree. It's around 5,000 to 6,000 years. And there's evidence for that. If you're an evolutionist, I ask that you would open up your heart and open up your mind, and just have an open mind and open heart, to kind of do research, kind of watch some videos of people finding evidence that the earth is only around 5,000 to 6,000 years, and be open about that, right? You don't know everything. So you might learn something new that you didn't know. And so, but what I'm saying is, if they have found at Lake Mendota, Wisconsin, canoes that they have dated back 4,500 years ago, that puts you really, really close to the time of the flood. And so taking that evidence and taking what I just said about America being the possible place, the possible land of Eden, as just one of the three, places that I'm talking about here. What I'm doing is I'm taking this into consideration, that possibly this is where Noah launched the ark from. Or not Noah, God, really. He's the one that launched the ark. And because, think about this, Um, they are saying that the possible landing spot for Noah's Ark is in Turkey, right? Well, if you draw a straight line from Lake Mendota, where they found these canoes, you're going to land, I mean, just that much north. Literally that much. I'm not exaggerating. Just that much north of the landing spot of where they think Noah's Ark landed, where they believe it landed. And so that if you do the same thing starting out where they believe it landed and you draw a straight line back, you land on the Wisconsin-Illinois border. I mean, come on, what more evidence do you need? And so what am I saying here? What am I saying? I'm saying it is possible that the ark launched from the west and headed east. That Noah's Ark was launched from Lake Mendota and went east, and it landed up in Turkey. Now, yeah, there's not definitive. That's not definitive evidence, and so there's still more to do, right? We need to know. So the ark would have a front, and then the ark would have a back. I would like to know what direction the ark was facing. Like its landing spot. What direction is the front of the ark facing? Is that facing north? Is that facing south? Is that facing east? Or is that facing west? That would be a good indicator of where Noah and his family started. Because, listen, wherever the ark launched from, that's probably where humanity started. And so, if it is possible that humanity started out in the land that we call the United States, the land that we call America, think about this. That means we are very, very close to discovering where the land of Eden would be. And a possibility that America, the land that we call America, in the days before the flood, could have been the land of Eden. Either the land of Eden or the land of Nod. Right? That's kind of, so yes, I understand that we need to know what direction the front of the ark is pointed. But I'm telling you, folks, if it is pointed east, if the front of the ark is pointing east, that means it launched from America and journeyed eastward to Turkey, because the ark does not have an engine, and the ark, there's no way to turn it. Noah was not driving the ark. He did not have one of those rudders to change the direction the ark was moving. And there also was no sails on the ark. So the ark was getting pushed along by the water, by the waves. And so think about it. A boat that is that large is basically sitting dead in the water. There's no other way for it to go but straight. Now, yeah, you have waves crashing into it, and I do believe that those waves could have pushed it to the side, one way or the other. But other than that, there's really no other way it's going to go. It's mainly going to go straight. It might stray a little bit, but for the most part, it's mainly just going to go straight. A ship that big, I mean, it can withstand the strongest waves, and so the waves might, kind of slightly get off course, but other than that, it's mainly heading straight. So wherever the ark, the front of the ark is pointed, is going to be a good indicator of where it came from. That's what I'm saying. And if someday we find out that the front of the ark is facing east, that means, I mean, it could have only came from America. And so that would be huge if that could be proven. Or, I mean, not necessarily proven, because you can't really prove, but if you have enough evidence for, I mean, that's the only thing that we can have as evidence. But what we do is, what we look at is the evidence. We look at the evidence. And that would be overwhelming evidence that the ark was launched from Lake Mendota. And so I'm not necessarily saying that it was, but what I am saying is I already got quite a bit of evidence. I mean, there's evidence of canoes that have been found that they have dated back to 4,500 years ago. And this is a recent discovery. This is very, very recent. This discovery was made in either 2020 or 2021. I forget what year this discovery was made, but very, very recent. They discovered these canoes at Lake Mendota that have been dated back 4,500 years ago. And my guess is they probably were there, longer. So that's evidence right there. And then the second evidence is when you look at a globe, you point to Mendota, and then you draw a straight line from Mendota to Turkey, and it literally, I mean, and if you were somebody to ignore that evidence, well, I mean, I am somebody that's going to laugh at you. Now, I get it. That's only two pieces of evidence that I have found, but then if it is true that the front of the Noah's Ark is facing to the east, that would be the third and final evidence that could be used to say, hey, America is. It's possible that besides the Garden of Eden, that America is probably where humanity started. I know that doesn't make America Eden, but it's a possible thing that it could make America the land of Nod, right? So, what is the third possibility that America, or that where the Eden, the land Eden is? The North Pole. That's another possibility. And look, I'm not a scientist. I have not traveled to the North Pole. I tried looking it up on Google Earth, and when you do, it's not there. It's like they have erased it. So I have no idea what the North Pole looks like. But I do know something about the North Pole. Is if you were to stand on the North Pole, because that's as far north you can go, if you're standing there, it doesn't matter which way you face. So if you're facing straight ahead, well, then, I mean, east, we know, is always going to be to your right. If you're standing on the North Pole, east is always to your right. If you're standing on the North Pole, because the North Pole is as far north that you can go. So no matter which direction you're facing from the North Pole, east is always going to be to your right. So it is possible then that either Asia or North America, the land that we call North America, and this is what I'm saying, only if, and I'm not saying that it is the land of Eden, but if North America was the scriptural land of Eden, then it is possible that either North America or Asia would be the land of Nod. And I described, my thoughts on, on what I talked about with Lake Mendota, how they found canoes that date back to 4,500 years. And that puts us around the time of the flood. And so you use that as evidence. And then the second part of evidence that I find is that if you take a globe and you point to Lake Mendota, draw a straight line to the landing spot of where they believe the ark landed. I mean, you literally do come to Turkey on the spot of, you know, where it landed, of where they say it landed. Now, yes, again, we need to know what direction the front of the ark is facing. But it looks like, and this is all I'm saying, is it looks like that the ark could have launched from Lake Mendota, Wisconsin, here in the land that we call America, and traveled east to Turkey. Now, again, we don't know that for sure because we need to know what direction the front of the boat is facing. But let me tell you again, one more time, that if the front of the ark is facing east, that's a very good indicator that it traveled from Western civilization to Eastern civilization. Because there's no way you can turn like a boat that is dead in the water that you cannot, you know, control, because I mean, there's no rudder, there's no way to make it turn, there's no sails attached to it. It's mainly going to go on a straight path. I mean, yeah, maybe sway off from that straight path a little bit from the waves, but other than that, it's, you know, probably going straight. So just keep that in mind. And so, yeah, that's from what I'm saying by that is that it is possible that America is either Eden itself or Nod. And if you know what the Bible says, it says that Cain left Eden, went east to the land Nod. And what I'm saying is that if you stand on the North Pole, east is simply just to your right. And so that means that he could have gone to Asia, or he could have gone to the Americas. I mean, that is, we got to take that into consideration. So what I'm saying is America is either Nod or Eden. So look, my vote is America probably is, and it's looking very, very warm and actually hot for the land that we call America, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, I just now saw your comment. Thanks for commenting. I'm not saying exactly where it's located. But the thing is, what I'm going over is, I mean, my best thing is go back and rewatch this whole thing once I'm done, because I'm not going to go back and explain myself and explain why I chose those three locations. I have picked out three locations, three possible locations from the study that I have done. You read a book about it. Well, Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, sorry. I mean, I've read the Book of Enoch, and I'm following his where he goes on his journey. And if you've read the Book of Enoch, it leads you to where he. Yeah, well, I've also studied the book of I mean, I haven't just read the Book of Enoch. You have to understand, like, I've actually studied it. I have videos. They're not pinned. They're not linked in the chat, but um something that I will do really quick is I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to get my link to my YouTube channel, hopefully, so you can check that out. Because I got plenty of videos. Just a second here. Customize channel. No. I'm actually messing up here. Crap. It's not letting me go to where I can, so here we go. No, come on. Don't want all of that. Copy. Here we go. Check out my YouTube channel. I'm sending this to the chat. That's the link to my YouTube channel, and I have lots of videos, live streams that I did about the Book of Enoch, and you can check that out. It has lots of information, but yeah, I would just say firsthand, I've studied the Book of Enoch. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about the Book of Enoch. So hopefully you're still on. And then afterwards, you can just check that out. But you can't be somebody that just reads the Book of Enoch. You have to study it. And then you also have to do your research. And I've come on, you don't. I mean, like, you don't know the answer to that. I studied all these something texts, but yeah, well, we've all studied this. We've all studied, certain things. At the end of the day, you're just gonna have to watch those videos. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but I have found through my study, I found 3 possible locations. One possible location is Australia. One possible location is America, and then the third possible location is I'm not going to answer that question for you. Sorry. I don't need to answer that question. The third possible location is the North Pole. Well, because I feel a trap. That's why. I feel like I'm about to be put in a corner, and I'm using wisdom. because I feel like you could have a demon inside of you trying to trap me, and I'm not going to snare myself. So, yeah, sorry, I'm not going to answer that question on that. I'm not going to, bother. I mean, obviously, when you're doing the work of the Lord, you get this kind of reaction on people. Yeah, you probably have a demon inside of you. I mean, sorry if you're somebody that don't believe in demons, but I mean, anyways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm actually going to go to my other feed, so I don't see those comments anymore. So yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's mainly really all I had for this live stream. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you next time. I mean, I hope you had fun on this. Now, before I leave, earlier on this live stream, I put out a challenge. When I get to 300 subscribers, I will read a little bit of my book. And this is the very first book that I published, Beauty, a Comedy Series, Season 1. And this is the only series out right now, but I am in the process of starting Season 2, and there will be Season 3, Season 4, etc., etc. Making a series eventually. So you can check that out in the comment section, and you can check that out. It's in the link. Amazon's the only place you can get it, and but once I get to 300 subscribers, I will share. I will read from that book. And you can also support this podcast by giving. That's all I ask is that you don't have to. It's not something that you have to do, but if you give, that would be appreciated. Other than that, I'm going to leave this up for just a little bit longer before I end, so you can scan that QR code, and hopefully that pops up for you. If it don't, I apologize. I am using a new streaming device. I'm actually streaming from the website, YouTube's website, but then also streaming from a streaming device to YouTube. So I don't know how that is going to work out, but if you can see that QR code, you can scan that and give if you want to. So hope to see you next time.